Game 7 of the NBA Finals.
So excited. It all comes down to tonight, the first ever NBA title for both teams in a winner-take-all. Let's get right to it as we move closer and closer to tip-off at 8 Eastern, 7 Central in OKC. Tonight's Game 7, just the 20th in NBA history. The home team has won Game 7 75% of the time. But that team that forced Game 7, like the Pacers did with the decisive win at home, well, they've gone on to win the final game of the series 90% of the time, and a guy who knows that really well is 2016 NBA champ with the Cavs, Richard Jefferson, on the call tonight with Mike Breen and Doris Burke. Man, your team went on the road for that Game 7. They beat Golden State after overcoming a 3-1 series deficit. What enabled you guys to go on the road, just like the Pacers are doing tonight, and get that win?
Well, it takes a tremendous amount of togetherness. Let me just be honest. People talk about camaraderie. Well, you have to have a mindset of believing that you can do it. Now, I think our paths are different, but when you look at it, look at the steal. Yeah, that was great. But at the end of the day, when you look at this team, and one thing is very similar. Both teams, Indiana and ourselves, we both won a very dominant Game 6 at home. So Indiana is coming into this game with a tremendous amount of confidence. They are playing well. They've already won in the building in Game 1. So this is an OKC team that's been one of the best teams at home we've ever seen. They've been one of the most dominant teams over the course of the season. But you also have an Indiana team that is a tremendous amount of confidence. I would say they are as confident as we were going into Game 7.
Yeah, and let's talk about that sort of double-edged sword of being the home team, right? Because obviously there's an advantage. There's also a lot of pressure on the home team in these games and on SGA to cap off that MVP season and their incredible regular season, but coming off 8 turnovers in that loss in Indiana. How should he be approaching this game tonight?
There's a calm that you have to have in yourself. And yes, there is an emotional anxiety that people don't understand about. You will go on a roller coaster of down 6, up 6. But if you're the home team, you're going to feed off of your crowd. But let's say you're down 8 with 5 minutes to go. That crowd energy will be anxious energy. So even then, you can't just fully depend on your crowd. You have to have something within yourself that says, hey, we're going to trust the process. We're going to wear them down. So both teams, especially when you look at the way Indiana played, SGA, he's had some up and down games, very consistent MVP, but he's had moments where you saw in last game, the amount of turnovers. Do I believe he will have that amount of turnovers again? No, but I do believe that Indiana is going to pressure him and make him have to make good decisions.
Yeah, I mean, 21 steals in that game. That was something else. We saw Rick Carlisle switching up the defense. Who knows what he'll have dialed up again tonight. And then we have Tyrese Halliburton. He was a plus 25 in Game 6, playing with that calf strain. Do you look for him tonight to be more of a scorer or a playmaker to get the Pacers their first title?
Well, I think that's the balance that he's been. We've seen the numbers when he scores 20 points and has 10 assists. We've seen those numbers, and his team is almost unbeatable. So you would think, in my opinion, you would go and score. And then as the game progresses and the defense starts to pull in on you, that's when you're able to find those passes. But they've got a 3-headed monster at point guard. You look at Nembhard, you look at TJ McConnell, who's had one of the best finals off the bench that we have seen in recent history. So when you look at the collection of point guards that they have, you have to believe that they're going to be able to use Tyrese. They might use TJ McConnell. They'll have them on the court at the same time, something you didn't see early in the series. And you got to give credit to Rick Carlisle for figuring out things that make it work.
Yeah, it could become just the 4th coach in NBA history to win a title with 2 different franchises. I just want to offer our congratulations to you, Richard. I mean, it's pretty cool. You're calling an NBA Finals and you're calling a Game 7 tonight. So our hat's off to you as well, my friend.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Anna.
6 hard-fought games. The stakes do not get any higher.
2 of the greatest words in the world. Game 7.
Anything possible! There's nothing like a Game 7 in the NBA Finals.
One game for everything you ever dreamed of.
Puts it in. He is the moment. One game, NBA Finals, Game 7.
For just the fifth time in the last 35 years, we have an NBA Finals Game 7 tonight at 8 on ABC. The first Game 7 since LeBron and the Cavaliers knocked off the Warriors on the road in a Game 7 in 2016. As NBA reporter Tim McMahon joins us now live from Oklahoma City, Tyrese Halliburton, game time decision in Game 6 with that calf strain. As you know, he played 23 minutes, 14 points, 5 assists. What's the latest on his health tonight?
Howdy, Hannah. He's listed as questionable. This is not a game time decision. This is Game 7. Tyrese Halliburton will be playing. Look, he says it's still sore. If this is the regular season, there's no way he's playing in this game. This is the NBA Finals. It's a winner-take-all game. He's going to get treatment all day, try to get that thing as healthy as it possibly can be. He's not going to be 100%, but he wasn't 100% in Game 6, and you saw him still be able to make an impact in the Pacers win. He hopes to repeat that tonight. Yeah,
as a playmaker and a scorer, he can impact the game in so many ways, and he has plenty of help on that deep bench. So let's talk a little bit about Rick Carlisle's teams going in tonight. You and I both covered a few years ago, seems like yesterday, as he led the Mavericks to a massive upset win over LeBron and the Heat. It was in the finals, 2011. They clinched that on the road in Game 6. How does that experience impact Rick's approach to tonight?
You know, it was funny. Mark Daigneault was asked about what it's like coaching against Rick Carlisle, and the first word he said was humbling. You know, Rick Carlisle is a proven championship coach. Not only a proven championship coach, he's pulled off what might be the biggest finals upset of the modern era, and this is one that would rival that. And you know, Rick doesn't want to make it a lot about him. He was willing to discuss the similarities between that 2011 Mavericks team and this Pacers team. The first thing he really cited was the competitive character of these teams. Now, that Mavericks team, much more veteran. They had Jason Kidd deep into his 30s. Dirk Nowitzki, you know, 32. This is a much younger Pacers team, but one, again, that is primed, or at least positioned, to be able to pull off one of the biggest upsets that we've seen in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, he really switched up that defense in an elimination game in Game 6. You don't know what wrinkle he's going to bring tonight as he looks to try to become just the fourth coach to win NBA titles with two different teams. Let's focus on the home team, the Thunder. They're 10-2 at home this postseason, scoring nearly 15 more points per game at the Paycom Center than they do on the road. What are they saying about playing in front of their home fans tonight?
And listen, they are hard to beat at the Paycom Center, and the atmosphere here is insane. They call it Loud City, and it lives up to that. It's so loud that Jalen Williams said it makes the hair on your arms stand up. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander said as amazing as the crowd is, the home court advantage is really about just that comfort zone. You know, they're having to shoot around at their facility this morning. Their meals being prepared by their chef. You know, they slept in their own beds last night. And again, this is a team, this will be the third time during this playoff run that the Thunder have had a chance to end a series on their home floor. The previous two, well, they beat the Nuggets by 32 in a Game 7, and they eliminated the Timberwolves by 30 last round. So we'll see that if that trend continues, it parades next year in Oklahoma City.
It's really hard to imagine that kind of blowout tonight with these two teams, but if this series has shown us anything, it's pretty unpredictable. Tim McMahon, we appreciate you. And now for the odds to talk about the favorites tonight, let's go to Trevor.
That's right. The homie and sports betting analyst Tyler Folger slides through now to give us some numbers inside the numbers. What are your best bets for Game 7 here this evening?
I got 4 of them for you, Trevor, for Game 7. I mean, it's a Game 7, so you might as well have a full menu to choose from. Let's start with the side. I kind of agree with what Hannah was saying there. Hard to imagine this being a blowout, even at Paycom Center. So I'll take the Pacers plus the 6.5 points. I can rely on Rick Carlisle's championship experience. I can rely on the depth and tenacity of this Pacers team to make this a tight game, win, lose, or draw. As far as the total, I want to tell you all about a trend. We saw those 5 previous Game 7s over the last 30 years earlier in this segment. All 5 of those games went under the closing total by an average of almost 15 points per game. In a Game 7 environment, scoring is hard. Refs swallow their whistles. Guys are playing extra hard on defense. Minutes are up. I see this being a lower scoring game relative to expectation. Despite that, though, I think we can rely on SGA to do what he has always done basically in this postseason. Give us a 30-piece. In 12 home playoff games, he has scored 30-plus in 10 of those, each of the last 10, as a matter of fact. He's got a 10-game home, 30-point playoff streak. And then I'll wrap it up with Tyrese Halliburton. So impressed with what he's done throughout this entire postseason. What he did in Game 6 may have been the most impressive thing I've seen thus far. Given his injury situation, to go out there and give the Thunder 14 points in just a little over 20 minutes. How about just 10 points tonight? I know it's difficult on the road where OKC plays dominant defense, but I think Tyrese is going to give us a little of that magic again and give us 10-plus points. So, Trevor, if you want to add all that up, a secret menu item at ESPN Bet you can wager right now. These 4 legs, Pacers plus the points, under SGA 30, and Tyrese 10, plus 640 is the price. Just wager responsibly.
Dude, I love the low expectations for Tyrese Halliburton, similar to the low expectations that the Pacers had before this season. They were 50-1 of lifting up the Larry O'Brien Trophy, longest preseason odds for any champion in the last 40 seasons. We'll see if they can get it done tonight. Tyler, we appreciate it.
15 seconds away from an NBA championship.
The relationship with time in that moment is everlasting.
Andre Iguodala's like, keep playing, we got 50 seconds left. And I'm like, bro, we about to win the title.
And next thing you know, you go like, we're the champs.
Goosebumps, jitters, palpitations. Matter of fact, you can hear mine in the studio right now. That's just what I'm feeling as a sports fan ahead of Game 7 of these NBA Finals. I cannot even begin to fathom what's going through the minds of the individuals that'll set foot on the hardwood floor of Paycom Center later tonight. But the beauty is, we don't have to wonder. We get to hear it from them directly.
It's a championship game, bro. Do or die. So mentality just you shouldn't have to get hyped to play this game.
It makes like the hair on your arms stand up a little bit. Like it's so like you're like anxious going into it.
You got to be really excited about the chance to compete one game to win a championship.
Has to be an emphasis, has to be at the top of our mind. It has to be all we care about.
Something I think all of us dream about as kids, obviously.
And above all, we just have to want to do it. Like we just have to have a sense of urgency in that part of the game.
Nothing else previous to this matters at all now.
It's a privilege. It's a privilege for everybody that gets to participate.
I feel like no matter what happens after the game, everybody gets to go home. It's whether you're going to be sad or you're going to be happy. I'm trying to go home happy. Like a dream come true.
I'm really excited to compete with these guys in a Game 7, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
NBA analyst, 2016 NBA champion, Iman Shumpert joins us now. And Iman, you've been here. I mean, this is the first Game 7 since you played in 2016 when LeBron, yourself, the Cavs won that title coming back from a 3-1 deficit. And you took Game 7 on the road at Golden State. What's your enduring memory of what it took to get that done like Indiana's trying to do tonight?
One of those out-of-body experiences. We were down big, and we knew we had to get it to, even state. So to get it to a Game 7 and then finally see that clock hit 0, there's no better feeling than hoisting your arms up and letting the fatigue sit in that you are exhausted. You have worked hard all year for this, and it's finally over. You got what you needed to get. After that, that's when you see grown men cry.
Richard Jefferson was saying, too, that y'all had won Game 6 at home, and you had a lot of confidence going into that Game 7. And we're seeing a similar scenario, right? The Pacers are coming off that blowout win at home. How should they approach this game in this hostile atmosphere tonight?
The same way they have every game. I think the Pacers come with a scrappy attitude. They play for 48 minutes. They call them a 48-minute team. They're guys that won't stop. They're relentless. And you have to play like a desperate man if you want to win a Game 7. Game 7 is where guys are going to go a little harder, guys that you normally don't see fall on the floor for a loose ball. Everything counts in these games. Everything counts. As far as you're talking about possessions, you're talking about turnovers, I expect to see people take care of the ball more. You expect to see people exhaust the dribble and make sure they get a good shot. This one's for all the marbles, so it's an exciting time.
I know the Pacers were not expected to be there. The Thunder certainly were. A lot of pressure, a lot of expectations, and you hear them kind of talking down a little bit. Oh, we just need to be ourselves tonight. What are your thoughts about their approach tonight in this winner-take-all Game 7?
I was actually pleased to see a lot of the Thunder's media releases to hear that they weren't doing the whole it's another game, stay calm and treat it like any other game. I think that they've raised the stakes in their mind, and I like their approach coming into the game. But as far as defending home floor, I think they're going to be happy. They're going to be comfortable back at home. If they do win it, it's in front of their fans that have supported them all year. I think it's a perfect scenario for them. I think Jalen Williams is coming off of a game where he feels like he should have been better. Shea as well, better with the ball. And I think that they want that chance to redeem themselves. They're looking into going into this offseason with a smile, as Shea was saying. He wants to be happy, not sad.
Yeah, and if they go into this offseason off a loss, that makes next season very, very interesting with all the expectations for this team. Winningest team in the NBA. They won so many more games this season than Indiana did, 18 more. Who do you think wins tonight?
You know, if it goes to a close game, I'm got to go with Indiana. I've never seen a team stay within range and striking distance so long and been so good down the stretch. But something tells me that, you know, being at home is magical, and OKC hoists up the trophy tonight.
I just want to, if we can lose the graphics at the bottom of the screen for just a second when we go back to our shot of you so people can see what you have on. Jim Carrey, the mask. I know you're wearing this for a reason. Why is that, Iman?
You know, I originally picked OKC to finish this out in 5 games and then in 6 games. And to see the relentless mindset and approach that Rick Carlisle has brought to his ball club, the adjustments that they've made to push it to a Game 7. I think that, you know, win or lose, both of these teams have given us everything that we've asked for. Whether people have said the ratings are up or down is out of the window. This is the great finals. Is going to a Game 7, and I'm happy about it. I went home to Atlanta to get another suit for this, and I was like, what better shirt than to grab my mask shirt? Just for a little ode to Jim Carrey, because him and Rick Carlisle got to be long-lost brothers.
Right, the doppelgangers. I love it. I absolutely love it. Iman, can't wait for more of this tonight on Hoopstream, 7:30 Eastern, ahead of Game 7 on ESPN's YouTube channel, Facebook, and the ESPN app. We appreciate you. Thanks.
Right here, right now, it's all about Game 7 of the NBA Finals, baby. We are here, we are amped up and ready to go, and we have Anscape senior writer David Dennis Jr. and Quentin Richardson, our NBA analyst, back with us here on SportsCenter. Let's kick it off with your 3 Q-tips. Q, what you got for us?
Well, you know, we got to start off. We got to start off with the boy Tyrese. I felt like he had a great Game 6. The way Carlisle deployed him out there, played him a lot with TJ McConnell. He was able to be more aggressive. I felt like he had 14. He could have got 20. I think this game, if the Pacers want to win, he needs to get that 20-point threshold. You know their record when he gets 20-plus points. Secondly, got to look at my young fella, J-Dub, Jalen Williams. He went from 40 points to minus 40 in Game 6. He needs to be closer. I mean, we don't expect him to get 40, but he needs to be the aggressive 20-plus points, the support system that SGA needs. He needs to be able to be that point forward that set SG up and get him in scoring position to relieve some of that pressure. So J-Dub has to have a big night. Lastly, if we want to see if the Thunders want to have that success, like they always have in them bounce-back games after they lose and they come back the next game, this is on their home court. They need to deploy that defense the way they did in Game 5 down the stretch, and they need to do it early and often. If they could get off to a great start early, they give this building a chance to get involved, and the whole team gets hyped up off of that, and that helps everybody play better when that building is loud, the whole supporting cast, and of course, SGA got to lead the way.
They definitely set the tempo with their defense, creating that early and easy offense. But David Dennis Jr., we've been talking with you all season about Dennis the Menace, right? Like teams that can find a way to play the role of upsetter. So how can the Pacers find a way to play the role of upsetter this evening out in OKC?
Yeah, the third Q-tip was how the Thunder start the game.
Right.
Dennis the Menace is how the Indiana Pacers can end this game. They can steal this thing. They've been doing this all playoffs. What we know from this series, outside the two blowouts, Game 2 and Game 6, whoever has won the fourth quarter has won the game. And the Pacers, they stay close. You can have a situation close to Game 1 because there's going to be a lot of nervousness in that arena, a lot of PTSD from Game 1. I was there. I heard that crowd when Halliburton hit that shot. If they feel like the Pacers can steal one more, everybody's going to be nervous. The Pacers are going to get more confidence. And if that ball's in Halliburton's hands, as the time is winding down, you know what happens. You know what happens.
Chest gets tight for all the opposition. It's not easy in there because Hallie has shown a propensity to live for those moments. But real quick, though, and it's an absolute necessity, we got to get your predictions, fellas. Q, you go first, man.
OKC. I got the OKC at home.
All right.
Indiana Pacers, Rick Carlisle has been dialing up some magical stuff, and we got throw all the stats out. This team is on a magical run. They are just doing something special, riding this lightning bolt, and I think they're going to ride it all the way to a Game 7 win.
It's tough to pick against Indy right now. It feels like they just got the mojo going, but OKC is at home, so Q, we'll just have to see. Appreciate you as always, fellas.
How's it going, everybody? Villa Sports Network here. Just want to thank you guys for your support on the channel. Thank you guys for watching the video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Also want to kind of remind you to don't forget to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment on the video if you like as well. But regardless of the fact, thank you again for your support, and hope to see you on the next video.